evening, or night, depending on where in the world you are right now. We're back again with an update on the team qualifying. This is not the most active time of the year because we've got the holidays approaching in a lot of the world, and we're heading either, depending on where you are, we're either starting into the coldest months or the hottest months. And then, of course, for some people in the center of the earth, it's hot all year round. But whether it's quiet or not, we did have some action last week. Pakistan had a silver ticket race, and it was won by Israr Mohammed. They had a field of 144, which I think is the most that they've had there, and Israr actually swept the silver ticket events in Pakistan for the qualifying for the team. So this year, Jamal Sayed, who has won the last two Pakistan championships, did not win one of the silver tickets. So the competition is heating up over there in Pakistan. And then we had a race in Portugal, the Madeira Island backyard. And Faisal Zafar gained an at large berth in sixth place on Team Portugal. So that's got a pretty good chance to stand through the rest of the year's qualifying. He'll be watching the other races with his fingers crossed, or else he'll be forced back into action to defend his place. They had 103 starters, which for Madeira Island is also a record number of starters, but that's pretty common in the backyards right now. Everybody's having record fields. They've gone from trying to get enough runners to figuring out how to handle all the runners they have. So good luck to Faisal and staying on the team. Then we've got some silver tickets that are going on today. The Paraguana in Venezuela, which is their oldest backyard, is and really a big traditional race for the backyard community in Venezuela is happening right now, uh, regardless of circumstances. The Endure race in Malta, in Marsa Scala, Malta, is going on today. And then in Baguio City in the Philippines, they're having the Jingle Balls coming up in a couple of weeks. Just thought I'd mention that one because that's one of the oldest backyards going back to almost the beginning of the sport. We have some other ones going on this week and weekend. The Irremediables in Vizcaya, Mexico, the Llagostera in Girona, Spain, the Rockies, Malaron in the Rockies backyard in Malaron Falls, Venezuela. I believe that's New Zealand, and I've made a wrong note. And then the Ural backyard in Chelyabinsk, Russia. So I thought it would be a good time to tell you what's been going on here. And since we started out with backyard, the biggest issue we've had has been the growth because it's grown so fast that every year we've had to redesign what we do and to handle a whole new scale of races, both in the structure of the sport itself and in the computer systems we're using to keep track of everything. With the first championships weren't really a formal championship. It was just that the best runners in the world met at Biggs. We went from there to having gold tickets at the biggest races around the world. When you had 30 races in 12 countries, that's an adequate way to do it. And then it's built up. Those of you who have been along have seen the qualifying change until we hit the system we've been using since 2020 with the silver tickets, the bronze tickets, the national champions qualifying to come here. And we feel pretty good that we've held it together, and it still remains something where everyone who runs backyards and has a desire to find their way to belt buckle has the opportunity to do it, which is a goal. And then the championships represent the backyard runners from all over the world, along with the very best that we have in the sport. And I think that everyone saw last year how well that's turned out. I would have been really pleased the last couple of individual championships, but things have grown from where that we wrote an hourly update on Facebook about the event to where that this year's broadcast from Fabienne, actually we counted our viewers of the race in the millions. Um, the data system started out with a few spreadsheets on my computer. Ended up having to have help from Bad Mike Dobies and Naresh, and we built a maze of spreadsheets. Every year we had to scale it up until it just got so big it collapsed. And after our championships with viewers in the millions, we felt like, yeah, it's time to go to a real system, and we've been making a transition from a from a bunch of spreadsheets feeding the website to having a real computer system feeding it. But anyone out there who has done a transition like that, especially when you're live and stuff doesn't stop, you kind of know the score. The data transfers are messy. They're not perfect. Stuff gets corrupted or lost. It doesn't transfer right. The programs you use, you have to build them from scratch, or else they don't work right when you start. And the races kept going on. So it's really been fortuitous for me that this is the quiet part of the year, because my biggest challenge said, it's a funny thing, or maybe it's not funny, but the number of people out there who are using the website and trying to keep track of the qualifying, or the team managers, people who are qualifying, I've had such a volume of email to tell me this is not right, or this is broken, or this is not working, that answering all those emails when the answer is always, yeah, we know that's wrong, and we're working on getting it fixed. Actually, some days that ate all the time and wasn't able to make any progress at all. But this has been kind of a week where that I feel like we've turned a corner on that, because when you do get things fixed and working, it reduces the volume of those emails, which gives you more time to work. And we've I've got projects ahead of me for the rest of this week that I think it'll really be up and going. I'd like to encourage you to stay out there and keep using it, keep looking at it. Never a problem to send an email and tell me something's wrong, because we're going as fast as we can, and there's too much out there now as we move our way up towards 700 events and counting. New events coming in about every day, that I can, I can no longer see everything. So I think we've gotten over the hump with this, and the broadcast, we're hoping to make this a regular, keep this up as a weekly thing. I think we'll talk with everybody. That's been 2 weeks in a row. It's worked out as Friday. We thought we would be doing it on Thursdays, but it might be better to do it on Friday, and try to basically hit this same time for the larger number of runners, which between Africa and Europe covers the largest percentage of us. but it will have the structure. We'll go over the events in backyards, and I will be getting more information, and when there's more races, there will be more to tell about. Try to every week have a little feature from Fabian because he does really interesting, cool things. I'm looking forward to seeing this week's uh, part. One of the stories, well, both of the stories I know a little bit about, but I'm will be interested in hearing about them from the people who were involved and not just through the grapevine. And then at the end, we'll go through a session where we answer questions. You may periodically hear a ding from me because I'm still working on the technical end where that I can actually see your questions. So about 500 miles away in Missouri, uh, Naresh is going to be reading your questions and texting them to me. And I think that covers what I had to say to start out. And now I can sit back and relax and enjoy the stories that are coming up. And so I'll send it to you.
I've run with Phil heaps of times and raced him, and toward me and him have been the last two at multiple events where he's beat me every time. Like he's yeah, I don't know, he's real methodical. He has a lot of his planning. I'm kind of the opposite and just adapt as I go kind of thing. And he's and like on that race, he definitely hang back a few times, and we as a you go out in the start and you go off running the first K or whatever it is, and then and then I guess when he started seeing me a bit sleep deprived, he would kind of wait up here and there, like, oh, wait. And I'm like, oh, you can keep going ahead. Like, it's all good. And he did do a few laps with me and help me on a few ones where he just jogged with me, but he runs a lot faster than me. So I kind of just do a little trick trot, and I'm a bit slower pace. And I just said to him as well, like, I can't run at his pace because it just cooked me even further. And I was just doing mine. I said, I'll be right. I'll get back. So we're kind of just like, we're still working as a team, but we're still running individual, so to speak, as well. I think we're just trying to make sure that I'm safe and we're going to get back in time. And there was definitely some laps we ran together, which was good to help, when I was starting to really fall off the wagon. So, but then then the next lap I'd come back a bit good, and then I wouldn't be as bad, and I could just kind of do my own run for half the lap. But yeah, it's definitely something that we all made sure, like once because like I said, I didn't know anything about the stats, so to speak, and he was definitely letting me know on what we had to do, like, and how far we had to go. And then towards the last, whatever it was, few hours, I remember them telling me that if we get to a certain distance, we'll be able to go in front of the US and get the second place. So I kind of just locked in on that really, because I was struggling for a while with the sleep depth and so to speak. And that was kind of where I just had my mind set out, like, look, I'll get Australia to there. And then I think I'm pretty much done, unfortunately. Like, you look back on it now and you wish you just kept going. But at the time, I was pretty broken, and it was a learning curve for that race. Like, I was even on that race. I was hunting over 100 and only had 5 hours to go to get 100. And I just at the time I just couldn't do it. I couldn't reason with myself. I think the biggest challenge I have is with that sleep debt, and then because I've got a strong mind, but once the sleep debt comes in, I find it really difficult to reason with myself and focus and keep getting my mind set back into that strong mind that I need. And I think that's kind of where I lost it towards the last bit. And yeah, I just agreed. But once we get into the second place, I said I'm pretty much done. That whole race, like the team championships there, like as in the promoter, Sean, they had a list on the board, like any food you needed. Like I was just putting up there because you want extra different foods. You want to putting up sushi on the board, chocolate coconut water, and all the community was running around getting it for you. So it was definitely a team event, regardless of like how I run separate and Phil might run his pace, and that's someone else runs their pace. But everyone was still working, and anything you needed, every crew member and all the different people around watching would help out to try to get you to go further. And everyone still wanted me to go further at the 95. Like everyone's trying to push people, trying to get me back out the gazebo. But unfortunately, when I got to that point, once I make my mind up, I was just done. We've grown over the last 2 years, and even last year compared to the other time, the 2 years before that we did, it was like like not even the same. We like last year we grew like doubled in as a team. So I definitely think that this next time it'll be even stronger team because people will realise now, like, oh, hang on, we got it. We're a team now, so it'll just be above and beyond. And I know the promoter's already reached out and is doing a lot of planning to, organise everything that people are going to need with the gazebos and things like that. So yeah, it'll be a strong performance regardless of who drops and what and in whatever laps. But I think everyone will go above and beyond again. So that my goal. I've got a lot of big races before then. I'll be doing another couple of backyards before then already, but I will always have that as one of my big plans for the year. So hopefully I've got the dead cow and dead cow gully race again. I always do that every year, and there's a few other ones I'll do, but yeah, I'll definitely be at that Sat Champs one and looking forward to trying to break over that 100 and get myself back to bigs. That'll be my goal. I definitely got unfinished business there from this year, so I want to go back there the following year. So definitely my goal is to secure a high number so that I could definitely got a ticket in.
C'est à cause ou grâce à Guillaume Calmette. C'est lui qui nous dit, pour arriver à faire la Barclay, j'ai participé à une backyard et je l'ai gagnée, une backyard ultra. Et on se dit, c'est quoi ça?
Et il nous parle de ce format en boucle, 6,7 km, c'est un jeu, c'est trop fun, on revient au camp, etc. On se dit, wow. On regarde, et en France,
Il n'y en
il n'y
avait
en
pas.
avait pas, évidemment, pas encore. Et donc, on se dit, c'est là où on se dit, bah, allez, il faut qu'on lance ça, faut qu'on essaye. C'était en 2019, on dit, on lance ça pour
2020.
été mai 2020.
Mai.
On a lancé à 50 inscrits seulement. On s'est dit, on ne savait pas du tout où on allait, etc. Et on l'a lancé sous le nom Infinity Trail. Ça, c'est une marque on a créée en France, avec peut-être l'idée de créer d'autres un circuit plus tard. Voilà.
Quand on réfléchissait à un nom, on s'est dit courir jusqu'à l'infini, ça fonctionnait pas mal dans la tête des gens.
Après, on s'est dit, l'idée, pourquoi pas, d'aller dans différentes régions pour que tout le monde puisse un peu s'y retrouver en France, quoi.
On s'est dit, on veut aussi le faire dans un endroit qui marque la région.
On a un circuit aujourd'hui de 11 backyards en France. Il y en a une 12e qu'on appelle Infinity Trail Surprise. C'est un voyage qu'on organise du coup avec notre agrément agence de voyage où les gens partent dans une destination en Europe mais ils ne savent pas où ils partent. Et ça fonctionne, le circuit cartonne aujourd'hui. Tout est rempli un an à l'avance. Sur nos courses, on fait maintenant des tirages au sort parce qu'on trouve que c'est un peu plus juste. Nous, ce qu'on voit sur toutes nos courses, c'est que le niveau, en tout cas la moyenne du nombre de boucles, elle diminue très légèrement d'année en année.
Mais pourquoi?
Parce que on va toucher de plus en plus de novices et de gens qui débutent et qui se disent bah, je vais essayer ce format peut-être pour voir jusqu'où je vais, etc. Et donc, du coup, forcément, qu'ils font un peu moins de boucles que ceux qui sont aguerris et qui pourraient aller plus loin. Nous, ce qu'on veut essayer de faire comprendre aux gens, c'est que le coureur du dimanche qui court une fois par mois, il peut venir essayer et en fait, tout le monde se surprend en fait, sur ce format.
Jade, notre fille, était prévue pour le 18 mai. Mais 3 semaines avant, on avait la backyard d'Osgore. Moi, je me suis dit, c'est mort, je ne reste pas à la maison et Fred va organiser la backyard. Et puis voilà.
Dans la voiture, on prend quand même l'essentiel au cas où.
Le siège auto, la poussette, enfin vraiment les trucs, la valise de maternité, parce qu'on s'est dit, si jamais ça arrive là-bas, il faut qu'on soit préparé.
Donc, forcément, on fait le départ, ça se passe bien. Donc le vendredi, nous, on fait partir le vendredi. Le vendredi, ça va, toi, tu vas bien.
Et en fait, le dimanche matin, je me réveille, je me dis, on est le 27. Je me dis, ah, c'est bizarre, là, je sens que ça peut arriver. Vers 20h, là, je commence à voir que ça commence à être un peu compliqué.
Ça passe pas.
Et à
Du coup,
23
je
heures,
retourne, ouais,
tu retournes
je
là-bas?
retourne à la salle et pour prendre les affaires et dire bah, on part à la maternité. À ce moment-là, on est à 59 heures de course, hein. Ils sont encore 4.
Jade arrive à 9h moins le quart.
Vous êtes obligé de battre le record de France pour faire un cadeau à Maud, Fred et Jade qui vient de naître.
Cool, félicitations. Félicitations Maud et Fred. Jade, super beau.
Allez, 10 secondes. Donc vous êtes obligés.
Et je crois que ça fait un peu plus de... Du coup, ça fait 60, ça fait 69 heures à peu près.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Et là, à un moment donné, on voit que ça va être la fin. Et Fred me dit, bah, j'y vais. Je dis, bah, bien sûr, vas-y. Et je me dis, Jade était là, tout allait bien. Et du coup, Fred est allé accueillir les coureurs. Il a rangé et il est revenu. Et après, bah, première nuit, bah, y avait plus personne. Fred dormait, ça ronflait sévère. Et du coup, on a essayé de trouver. Donc, Jade, c'était son premier prénom. On avait le second, on l'avait trouvé parce qu'on hésitait un petit peu entre les deux. Donc, Ava. Et le troisième, on s'est dit, attends, ce serait bien d'avoir un petit truc qui nous rappelle cet événement-là, même si nous, on s'en rappellera toute notre vie. Mais voilà, qu'on lui laisse une trace. On s'est dit, Infinity, ça peut être cool.
On s'est dit ce sera le petit clin d'œil en
C'est
tout
ça.
cas qu'elle gardera et pour nous aussi d'ailleurs.
Out that I didn't get to see it live the first time, so I will be connecting to the YouTube program as soon as we're done here to watch it myself. I have a question that is frequently asked, kind of a generic question in a way, has to do with the participation of athletes with various handicaps along the way. We've had questions about blind runners with runners in a wheelchair has come up a number of times. I know there's a fellow who's participated in a number of races that with, I believe, in Spain, who has a personal best of 18 yards. And the race directors, of course, want to know whether that this is allowed. It's not only allowed, it's pretty much encouraged. We really want to see it be a participatory sport. For the blind runners, they of course would have a guide, and the restrictions to kind of make it fit with everything else is that they just have the one guide, the same person as their guide throughout the race. And you don't get in a situation because of the frequent starts where there's an impediment to other runners, but that's, I don't think, really an issue. The people there was one that where a guy needed to, the course was partially paved but partially not, and he needed to use his walking stick in the off-road portion. I'm certainly understanding of that because I don't have depth perception myself. So when I'm on the trail, I have to use a walking stick to tell me where the ground is so that I would rather find it with the walking stick than with my face. The wheelchairs, that one's a little more problematic because you couldn't do it with a racing chair. That obviously would not be fair. But people who just have a regular chair, or in at least one occasion where that they had someone push them. The only thing is that, of course, the same people are participating throughout, and that you don't end up creating an obstacle for the other runners, that because of the frequent starts, you have everybody together every hour. And to my knowledge, not any of these has created an issue for the event, and everyone has been really happy to see the more people to be able to participate and be part of it, because the backyard is at the bottom of it. It is a family of people, and everyone is welcome in our family. So that was that question that came up. And I don't have another question sitting out. If Fabienne or Naresh on the other end waiting has something that they feel like needs to be taken care of, we can do it. Otherwise, this is probably a good time to wrap up. Tell you that we will try to do, we'll be back next week. We will get the word on the time out sooner. We're going to try to have a regular time, but I think when we have a feature that's from, say, New Zealand and or Australia, Japan, somewhere like that, that we would switch it to a time that's good for them, and we'll just be announcing that so that the people involved get to watch the live broadcast. We might even cover something from the United States one of these days. Definitely we'll have to hit Mexico and some of these other countries that have got a lot going on. Argentina stands out in my mind. They've got such a active community down there, and or Venezuela with the Paraguana, places where they have obstacles to overcome to be able to continue to participate. So I think for me, that seems like all for now. I will welcome y'all back next week.